Tim Kerry Martin, as we are season now, as we record this interview, we're 4.5 weeks in. The Wildcats have played 4 games. You've got 5 left, so you've got a little more than half of the actual playing season left. But Marion at this point 2-2 for the season after a 28-21 loss to Cahokia last week. Talk a little bit about Cahokia, and we talked after the game about how they do things so quickly and they have those spurts, and they scored enough points to win the game on 2 offensive plays and a defensive return for a touchdown.
And that's kind of the way they've been over the years. They are a quick strike, score in small bunches type of team. You know, when you go into playing, your game plan is a lot of times centered around trying to prevent the big play, and they make them both on offense, defense, and they can make them in special teams. And in about a 90-second period, they scored 2 touchdowns in the first half. I thought our defense had an outstanding game plan and really executed it well, except for a few plays here and there. And that's the way they do it. They're not a team that drives the ball a lot. They kind of thrive on the big play, and they made enough of them to get us on Friday.
You did a lot of things better than them. You had more offensive yards. You had more sustained drives. You created 3 turnovers and turned the ball over only once in the game. But that ability to just hit you at any time from out of nowhere not only causes you fits, but causes a lot of teams fits as well.
It does, and you know, I think they made just enough big plays to carry the statistic that matters the most, and that's
right.
Points scored. And they won the stat in the end with 28 points to our 21, and we just didn't have the same offensive success we had in the first half. In the second half, we struggled. We struggled to put drives together. You know, we just missed on a few plays here and there at crucial times. Missed a first down by just inches at one time, and you know, it's just a matter of not making enough plays in the second half. I think we had a 21-14 half lead, and you know, we allowed them in one play pretty much to come back in the second half and tie that up. And they put together their final drive, the real drive of the game was their best drive of the night, and took advantage. But we just couldn't muster any offense in the second half, and we failed to make some key adjustments, I think, up front, and with our blocking scheme by our backs, and I think it cost us.
Early in the game, its first drive in particular, you just took the ball and ran it right down their throat, went down the field. You got good field position on the kick return, and then went right down the field in the running game and scored that first touchdown. I'm sure you thought at that point, you thought things looked pretty good.
It looked better. You know, we had not scored in the first quarter, and we wanted to get off to a better start, and I think we did. I like the way our team started. I like the first half play, but we've talked about all season long, in the 4 games we've played, we failed to play 4 quarters. And I think, again, we played more quarters this week, more snaps and more series than we've played all year. But it still wasn't enough. In the South 7 Conference, we're going to have to play 4 quarters to win ball games, so we're still striving to do that.
One of the things you've talked about wanting to do all season is speed up the pace of the game, run a lot of plays.
Yeah.
You talked about the first half again. You were right there, 53 offensive plays in the first half.
Yeah.
That's a lot of plays.
Yeah.
Some teams don't run that many plays in a game. You had 53 in the first half.
We did. We liked the play production. We loved the first half play production in particular. We were hoping that would bode well for us in the second half, hoping to fatigue them a little bit. But as I said, they made some really good adjustments on defense. We failed to counterpunch that, and but you know, I think our kids played hard for 4 quarters. They gave us everything they had. We just couldn't find any big plays in our offense. We found successful plays. We failed to make big plays, and we were real close. We had a big catch at about the 1-yard line we didn't hang on to. We had some other catches and passes that were just out of the reach or hit hands and got knocked away, and you know, just little things like that. It is a game of inches. It's an old cliche, but it's true. And I think you know, we just needed a big play or 2 to win that ball game. We couldn't get him in the second half.
Second time this season, your sophomore has been pressed into starting duty at quarterback. Isaac, the numbers don't look good. We had him 5 for 19. I think officially it was somewhere around there. But so many passes that were right there on the hands and right in the right spot. And I think as he develops, and you know, we don't know how much he's going to play the rest of this year, but certainly for next year and the year after, he's doing a good job of getting himself in position to be a very good quarterback.
Yeah, you know, his mistakes aren't glaring. He had the pick 6, but that was a tip ball and a ball maybe he should have or could have thrown away. But they made a heck of a play on it, and by a defensive lineman that's probably plus 280 pounds to make that play was pretty extraordinary. And when you play a sophomore and you kind of throw him into the fire like that, I think you can expect there to be some growing pains. And I think he's handled it very well. He doesn't stay down after something bad happens. He continues to lead as best as a sophomore can lead at that quarterback position. And I've been real proud of him so far. He's got a burning desire to be successful. He wants to improve, and he seems fearless. In a ball game with an athletic team like that and a really fast defense, he played to me pretty fearless, and I was proud of him.
And talk about your defense, because they've really struggled at times during this season for extended periods of time. And other than the handful of plays, the defense was pretty solid Friday night.
They did. By far their best performance, and I think they had a great second half against Harrisburg and a good 4 quarters here. And I think that's 6 pretty good quarters in a row. And I'm hoping to see that continue to improve. And I think we're growing up a bit as a football team, and we've still got a way to go. But I think we're seeing progress in a lot of areas. And of course, at some point in time, you got to stop worrying about progress. You got to worry about wins. We need to get wins now. No longer are we an inexperienced football team. We got 4 games under our belt. It's time, I think, to take the next step and take this progress and take this improvement and translate it into wins.
You're 2-2 at this point. It's been quite a while since Marion's been 2-2 after 4 games. Do you sense the team maybe pressing a little bit? Obviously, there's a sense of urgency, but is it a good urgency or a not so good urgency?
Well, I mean, by all indications, the kids have stayed real positive. The practices so far this week have been really sharp. I don't sense any urgency to the point where it's got me concerned. I think they know we've got to take this one game at a time. If we were 4-0 right now, we'd be taking this one game at a time. And I just feel like they're focused on Mount Vernon. They understand the ramifications of this ball game. And after this ball game, we come home for 3 out of 4. I think there's solid teams on our schedule, of course. We've got some very good games coming up against some very good teams. But I still feel like we can win every one of these ball games. We can win every game that's left on our schedule. We have a good shot at winning every game that's left. But we got to take them one at a time. And if we don't, we got a shot at losing every game that's left on our schedule. That's the South 7 Conference this year. We could split the remaining games. We could win the remaining games. We could lose them all. It is a week-by-week dogfight with everybody in our conference, and it starts again this Friday with Mount Vernon, and we'll go back to war and do what we got to do, because I know they're playing much better football there right now.
They're 3-1 this year. Talk about Mount Vernon. Similar to you last week in that they were, or similar to Cahokia, I guess, they were behind, rallied to win the game at Althoff. Yeah. They're 3-1. It's been a long time since they've won 3 games in a season, let alone been 3-1 in a season. And things seem to be going in the right direction up there. And I would assume that it's the typical Mount Vernon team.
They're good. They're a good football team. They're a young football team. And Jared Shaner's done a great job getting that program back on track. And I think he's done it the right way. I think he does it with a lot of class and integrity. I really like him. I think he's a good young coach, and I think he's motivated that town again and motivated those kids. And I look for a tough battle, and I think if anyone deserves to turn a program around, he's been patient and not tried to take shortcuts, and I think he's doing a heck of a job at Mount Vernon. So we look forward to going to battle with him on Friday.
I haven't had a chance to see any film. I'm sure you've seen all kinds of film on Mount Vernon. Is it the run first, pass when you need to type team still?
It's a little different than maybe the Coach Ming's era. Coach Shaner uses multiple motions, a lot of jet sweep, inside runs off the jet sweep action, a lot of play action pass. It's not what I would call a wide open spread passing system, but it is a spread run game, and it's difficult. It's got a lot of misdirection to it, and you got to stay on your keys. Reminds me of playing an option team. They do run some midline option with it, and it's a really good scheme, and he's got the kids running it well.
And they're a team that this year has been putting up a lot of points, and I think that's been, they've given up some points in the past and they haven't been able to score. This year the difference is they've given up a few points, but they're scoring a lot of points.
I agree. Yeah, they're outscoring people now, and that's in this game. When you put up 48 points, you get a chance to win a lot of ball games. And I think they've proven they can score, and so it's going to take a combination of our offense scoring some points and our defense getting some stops.
There's been some really strange things the last few years up in Mount Vernon. I think a couple years ago went up there and had to come back on Saturday. Went up on Friday night and had to come back on Saturday.
That's right.
They've had that when they've come down here. This weekend always seems to bring out strange weather phenomenon, and there's nothing in the forecast, but
yeah, you don't know, power outage or something crazy. Yeah, we've had our share of strange adversity when it comes to Mount Vernon, and we've had some great games too. Last year's game here was a great football game, a 29-28 win for us, and a goal line stand at the end. So I look for a close ball game. I look for a really good ball game, and I look for us to continue to make strides. And I think they're excited that we're coming up there, and for the first time in a long time, they're the favorite in this ball game. And so we're a bit of an underdog, and we'll see how we handle that role.
Would you rather be the underdog or the favorite?
Yeah, I don't think about it. I really don't. I don't think about it much. I look at the game plan. I look at the film. I just coach the games, and whoever decides ought to win, I don't get too caught up in that. I go with the mindset every time we play somebody that we're going to win the ball game, and this is our game plan. If we execute it, we're going to win it. And so I don't know. It could go either way, but I feel like they're much improved, and I think we're getting better, and it ought to be a good matchup.
Talk about your health. What's the status of Jordan Evans at safety, and have you got everybody else getting healthy again? Or?
We're probably the most healthy we've been all season, and finally. Going into Mount Vernon, we're nearly at full strength. John Dalton is back, arguably our most complete running back, running and receiving both. John has been out since the first or second series at Granite City. Early in the first quarter, he got hurt, and we've missed him bad. He's a fine football player and a guy that's really worked hard. And John is back practicing. He will not play this Friday. We're going to give him another week, get him back for the Althoff game and homecoming week. We just don't think he's ready. He could play. He will not play. So it's good to have him back. Jordan Evans is back. But again, we're, as of right now, barring anything through practice or whatever else, we're about as healthy as we've been all year.
And again, it's the end of that 3-game road trip that you have every other year. And it's kind of difficult, but at the same time, I think it's a point where you're getting used to that.
Yeah, I mean, once you get on the bus and you get there, and then it becomes a ball game. Our kids played really well last Friday and didn't seem to have any ill effects of traveling up there to Cahokia, and it's just Mount Vernon's not a very far trip. It's a short trip. It's an hour trip or less, and our kids will handle that okay. It'll come down to who plays the best.
And like it's happened in the past, up at Cahokia, Marion far outnumbered Cahokia as far as fans, and the fans continue to follow the team.
They do, and we appreciate that, and it's been a real good support from our fans. And, we come off to that sideline, and you can hear our crowd, and they were big in numbers, and they're loud, and it makes us feel good. We never feel like we're really on the road, per se. We feel like we've got a home field or home field advantage a little bit on our sideline every week.
Marion head football coach Kerry Martin. Friday night, the Wildcats play at Mount Vernon against the Rams. Coach, we'll see you Friday.
Sounds good.
For Dateline Marion, this is Tim Petrowich.